Do you struggle with PPC, whether it's managing your PPC, understanding your bids, your budget, understanding what keywords to target, how to go about optimizing your PPC to get the best ACoS? The list goes on with how complex PPC can actually be. Well, in today's video, I have a special guest, Vince from Helium 10, who is a PPC genius, and Helium 10 actually just launched a brand new software called Atomics, and he's gonna give us a rundown of how to actually use it to help us manage our PPC, lower ACoS, launching products. The list goes on. There's a lot of information, so I'm really excited about it. But before we dive into it and the interview that we have, go down, like the video, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment, and let's get into it.
Hey, Trevin, thanks for taking time today to take a look at this update we've done to our PPC management tool.
I'm excited about it. I'm really excited for everybody to get an inside look of Atomic.
Yeah, thank you. It's been a labor of love. So many of some of your users or viewers might know that we acquired a company called PressIsOn late last year, and so we've been working basically since then for the past 6 months on integrating the best of PressIsOn with ads, which was the former PPC management tool that I built. So Atomic is kind of the merging of those two, the love child, so to speak, of those two platforms. So there's some specific things that we've enhanced for our users. Dashboards, at a high level, everything's really much the same as what ads was before. So if some of your viewers have used our tools, everyone gets a dashboard, analytics, ad manager, suggestions, changelog, and products. The main difference is primarily on our ad manager page. Actually, no, let me clarify that. Platinum level and up does get access to dashboard and analytics. However, they do not get access to ad manager, suggestions, changelog, or products. So even at Platinum, though, you still get high level access to information. You can see there's a lot of data on this screen. I can look at the data from a campaign level, ad group level, all important search term level to figure out how your campaign's doing. This is Bradley's Project X account. There's quite a few search terms here. I would probably make negative right away, which I can do with literally just a click of a button. So these kind of features are something that our users take advantage of when they first get into Atomic. Actually, hopping into the search term level is the first place I tell people to go.
Yeah. So basically, for those that are watching this is a huge feature just because back, I mean, when I very first started, I was pulling advertising reports,
search term reports, right?
Yeah, search term reports, and trying to figure out what was converting, what was not. And then it was just a nightmare to go in and put in negative keywords and all of this. And with this software, it's a click of a button and it basically puts it in there right for you. So that's really cool.
Yeah. And you can really quickly look for wasted spend too. So you've got, if I want to see PPC orders, let's see, 0 orders, so below 1 and over 8 clicks. Really quickly, I think this is a 60-day look back, and all these search terms are just wasting, right?
Yeah,
every single one. So you can really go through. You can make ASINs negative as well for those auto campaigns that are driving up the costs, or for product targeting campaigns that are driving up the costs. So really quick ways that Atomic makes it super easy for our users to go through those search term reports and keyword level at the same too.
So quick question. Do you have kind of a rule of thumb of after X amount of clicks, you want to put it into a negative? Or what's kind of your rule?
Yeah, definitely minimum. If over 10 clicks, doesn't matter the spend. If over 10 clicks, it's probably not going to get a conversion. So at that point, if it's no sales after 10 clicks, you can make that a negative. But it also depends on the cost of your product and how competitive it is, right? If your product only costs $20 and your CPCs are $1, then that's $10 before you would make that. So if you've got a smaller margin, then you're really going to want to calculate that and say, you know what, I'm gonna look for search terms that have made 6 clicks and no sales, right? Because that might be $6. So it really depends, but the general rule of thumb is 10 clicks. Cool. No matter how much money margin you have, probably not going to convert. Another cool thing that we do offer, and I don't know if you realize this, but with an MWS token activated, we actually show total sales as well. So not only do you get to see your PPC sales and spend by product level, um, which you can see some of the ACOS is here, not that good. Um, Bradley's pink coffin shelf has a pretty bad ACOS for the past 60 days. However, look at his total sales. Pretty good. He's got a 7% total ACOS. So that means that he can actually afford to throw more money at this because his organic sales plus his PPC sales are averaging below a 10% ACOS, which is really, that's when you see that's a successful campaign. Bradley's
Well,
not
that's
doing any
what people get so caught up on. Oh, I'm spending too much on PPC. It's
just on ACOS.
eating away.
Right.
And all they're looking at is the ACOS.
Right.
But what's important is seeing the bigger picture. And if you
Yeah.
can see the organic sales and everything,
Yeah.
and that's for me, I'm willing to spend more than normal on my advertising because I know my organic sales are making way, they're compensating for what I'm spending in the PPC.
And we do know, because we've tested this, and Amazon has confirmed this as well, but we do know that PPC drives organic sales. So it makes sense to connect the two and not just make the decision on the ACOS, but look at it holistically. And we have that capability so that you can see right away. For Bradley, he's not doing any external marketing, right? So his PPC is his marketing budget on Amazon. He's only selling this on Amazon. So it makes sense for him to look at his total sales numbers in conjunction with his ACOS to say, if he was just looking at this ACOS, he might just kill this product, right?
Yeah.
But you look over here, you're like, oh, no, this actually has some promise. So I'm going to keep going and work on it. The other place that we do show that at kind of like the high account level is at the top here at the dashboard, again, which Platinum level does have access to. But you see we've got at an account level, so the whole account, we've got the total sales and ACOS number as well. So again, even though his ACOS is not that good, 43%, his ACOS is, or his total ACOS is only 15%. So it's actually not that bad.
Yeah, not terrible at all.
Yeah, so we make that information. Not only do we make the search term information super accessible, but we also do make the your total, your organic, and your PPC sales available to you. Which is why every other Tuesday I do a Tacos Tuesday. That's what my PPC AMAs are called, and I call them Tacos Tuesday to in honor of that tacos metric.
And it perfectly aligns because I guess at the time of filming this, tomorrow is Cinco de Mayo. So
yes, tomorrow is Cinco de Mayo. That's correct. So the major edit, like I said, major update that we did between ads and Atomic was the campaign builder. We added templates, a couple of templates actually. So the first thing we did was break up our one-page builder into two, and we designed two different flows. One for brand new sellers that maybe they don't even know how to do keyword research yet. This is the template that they can use, and what this will do, it'll just automatically leverage the auto campaign. As long as they have an auto campaign going, Amazon's going to do the job of finding keywords and finding potential ASINs. So we just leverage that ASIN or that auto campaign in this particular builder. And on top of that new builder, we also have templates. So if you're in launch phase, you might want to select the launch template. And what this does is it focuses our algorithm on impressions as the goal, versus like an ACOS. Like we were saying, too many people are tied up on ACOS. This is an example of that. At launch, what I tell people initially is to expect to spend a significant budget on your PPC campaigns, but you're doing that for visibility, which is really important for a brand new product. And you're also doing it to collect data. And the more data you get up front, the quicker you can then optimize those campaigns down and then maybe start to scale them, which is the second template here. So if a brand new seller comes to us, I would recommend they use the launch to get the impressions, to get the data and visibility that they need. If it's a user that already has maybe campaigns running, or maybe they have done some research before, and they do know their target ACOS, they can select this. But liquidate is liquidate's kind of like the third stage. We've just really made this kind of less thinking involved. What area are you in? Are you in launch phase? Are you looking to scale your products up? Or hey, maybe you got a product that didn't do very well, and you just want to get rid of it because it's eating up your storage fees. Or maybe you got a brand new version of your product and you want to get rid of the current version because you don't want, you want the new version to be, the best and brightest. So we even have a liquidate template for users that just want to focus on getting rid of their inventory. And again, instead of an ACoS target, this is instead going to focus on keywords that are just driving sales. It doesn't matter the ACoS. Our algorithm is going to hit those keywords and really drive that up. So, of course, that means you do have to be careful because the ACoS isn't the target. So for those that are really, maybe cost sensitive, then the scale is the option that you can do. But it's good to know that if you are in either one of these scenarios, you've got templates that you can just click on, and Atomic will just take care of it for you. So, other than that, you're going to select some products. It's going to take you through a couple of different steps, and it's going to launch your campaign. But again, the campaign that it launches is really just going to be based on your an auto campaign. You're not going to even need to build or add keywords. So since I did select scale, it's going to ask me for an ACoS target. And this is pretty high because it's being aggressive. This is a brand new product, so it's being pretty aggressive with the ACoS, which I like. We're going to give you the default bid and max daily budget suggestions as well, based on the product that we selected and the template that was selected. And then boom, the seller's done. Really, it's like you got an auto campaign already ready to go, research, performance, and a product targeting campaign. This is a new ability that we actually have product targeting campaigns available in our builder. And that's so that the auto campaign will feed search terms, or ASINs, I should say, into the product targeting campaign. So instead of manually doing the search term review, like we just kind of did at the beginning of this video, Atomic will do that search term review for you if you have the right structures set up. And that's what this campaign builder does. So the auto will feed into the research campaign, which is broad-based keywords. So you can potentially get more keywords out of that. And it'll also add an exact match version of that converting keyword and move it into the performance campaign. And then the ASINs will get moved to the product targeting campaign. We've got automation already preset on. So if you don't really even want to deal with it after it launches, you can do that. I actually do suggest that brand new sellers wait on this, like look at the suggestions first, which I can show you in a second where those are over here. And just to make sure that it's doing what you really want it to do, and then maybe come back and edit and add those. At the bottom here, we added this warning that looks kind of scary, but it's really not. All this is saying is, hey, this particular product that we added to these campaigns is already living in a bunch of other campaigns. So we just want to make sure that the sellers are aware that they've already got the same product running in different campaigns. If they didn't know, for example, then they can actually just pause that product in those other campaigns before they hit launch. If they don't care, because lots of campaigns isn't going to hurt you, depending on how many different kinds you're doing, then you just hit launch and away you go. Now, the guided builder is a little bit more advanced in the sense that you do get to add keywords to the flow. So if you have done research, or maybe you've done my list and used, which is a feature in Helium 10, where you can add keywords into a list that after you've done research, you can save the keywords into a list, and then you can port them over into the builder. I don't know why it's taking this long.
No, that's super awesome. So basically, for those that are watching, you guys have probably seen a video that I posted. It was about a few weeks ago where I talked about Helium 10 Cerebro. And when you do that reverse ASIN lookup, and I break down how to do keyword research, this is the tool. Once you get those keywords and you find the best targeted keywords with good search, those are the ones that you want to plug into this campaign, because we know that these keywords are getting sales from your competition. And so that's a super cool use case there. And so would you recommend to use both of these together? Because for me, I mean, obviously I have an auto campaign going.
Right.
I would want to set that up to mine keywords, but then I would also, since I know how to do keyword research, I'd probably want to do that as well. So can you run them both at the same time?
Yeah. Well, if you mean deciding between the guided builder and the campaign builder, or sorry, the quick builder.
Yeah.
If you've done the research, then yeah, I would suggest just using the guided builder, because this is where you're going to actually add the keywords, right?
Got it.
So I'm going to go ahead and select a product, which, by the way, even this is new too. And previously you could only just enter your ASINs or SKUs that you have But if you have, again, your MWS token connected, which also gets you the total sales and tacos metrics, if you have your MWS token, you get to just pick from your selection, just like you would in Seller Central.
Cool.
So I'm going to just hit test because I have to have a campaign name there. And I left this at launch. So it's going to focus on impressions. And then this screen. So this is where you're going to have the option to build out different campaign types. This account is brand registered. So I have access to sponsored brands and sponsored display. So the beauty of this is that I can build all 3 campaign types at once. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's really cool. Our previous one, you could only build 3 sponsored product campaigns at once, or you could build sponsored brands, but you couldn't build all 3. So I'll just go through and actually I'm going to select just sponsored products and sponsored display because it's quicker. Sponsored brand has a lot of titles and you have to add images and stuff, which the tool does. But
let me ask you this real quick.
Yeah.
Is there a strategy? I mean, I'm just kind of talking out loud here. Mm-hmm. Is there a strategy to basically target all of the same keywords throughout the 3 different campaigns, the display, the brand, and then just the normal keyword? Is that a strategy that you recommend, or what's?
Yeah, the layout that you have here will actually do that for you to a certain degree. So what we're looking at here, I selected sponsored products and sponsored display campaign, right? Now, the sponsored display is just product targeting. We don't have audience targeting yet. So that would require selecting an audience, which can only be done in Amazon still. But for most sellers, I recommend doing product targeting because the placements for sponsored display product targeting are pretty amazing. It's the ad units that are on a product listing right below the search bar, right below the buy box, right below the bullets. Those are all sponsored display product targeting. So really powerful placements. But this auto campaign will feed into that. So again, auto campaigns get ASINs, right? And they also get keywords. So the same flow will happen here as I showed you in the quick builder. But since we went to guided builder, I now can add sponsored display into the mix here. So again, Atomic went through, gave some default bid suggestions, daily budget suggestions. You can edit these before you move on if you want. But again, it's just a couple of clicks. Now, I'm on the research phase. So as you can see, Atomic on the back end did a query for you. So if for your users that have done Magnet, this is tapping into that. So which is awesome. Like we didn't have keyword suggestions before. You just had to do your research ahead of time and then port it over, which you can still do. You can either choose some of these ones that we've suggested. You could enter your own keywords if you've already saved them to like a spreadsheet, or you can add from your list. So this is you know, the feature that we have where maybe you've already done some research. And I'm just going to add egg tray. So all the keywords that were saved in Bradley's egg tray list are now here. I click next, and now I'm at the performance keyword, right? Which is your exact match. So we're going to give some suggestions, but for exact match, since it's exact, you just have to make sure that you're a little bit more selective, I would say, with the ones that you want to target. Maybe you've got some experience with particular keywords. If you leave this blank, we're going to fill it in with search terms that we have found from the other keywords. So you can't even technically leave this blank, but I'm just going to select a couple here. And then ASINs. And again, these are ASINs not only for the product targeting campaign, the sponsored products product targeting campaign. This is also for the ASINs for the sponsored display product targeting campaigns, which are completely 2 different campaign types. Yeah. So this is where you enter ASINs. We don't have any suggestions yet for ASINs. So you just have to make sure you do your research, like the Cerebro reverse engine that you just talked about. This would be perfect for this. You would take that list and you would add it here. These are the targets that you want to use. So you would just add them here. So I'm just going to type and make sure I get 10 digits. So we don't check this. We only really make sure that it's the 10 digits. So you really have to make sure that these are accurate, because whatever this ASIN is what's going to get targeted in this campaign. So I'll just add 1. And again, similar to the setup that we saw in the quick builder, you've got a review here. And what this flow basically says is you're about to launch 5 different campaigns, an auto campaign, research, and a performance campaign. These are all sponsored products as well as a sponsored product targeting. So ASIN-based campaign, and a sponsored display ASIN-based product targeting campaign. So the auto is going to feed ASINs that it finds that are good into both the product targeting and the sponsored display. It's also going to feed good keywords into the research as broad and the performance as exact. The research is also going to feed good search terms it finds to exact keywords in this performance campaign. If I would have had sponsored brand, you would have seen SB here too, versus just SP and then to SD. And then below here, we're just showing you kind of some of the rules that are associated with the campaigns. So, the flow structure that I said, auto research performance product, these are the rules that dictate keyword promotion or making negative. So we're looking at promotion, which is basically finding keywords. Some people call it keyword harvesting. And all this is saying is that we're not adding keywords into the auto campaign because you can't, so that's not applicable. But we are going to add broad match into that research. We're going to add exact match into that performance, and then ASINs are going to get moved. So that's pretty much all it's saying there. And then if you want to do search term isolation, that's already pre-built in. And that simply means that the keywords that are being promoted will be made negative in the campaign that it came from, so that it's isolated in the campaign that it's being moved to. Some people like doing that, some people don't. It's pre-built in, but if users want to change that, they can always do that in the edit rules section.
Yeah, that's what's kind of cool is looking at this at first glance. It's like, oh, this is a lot of stuff, but at the same time, you entered in just some basic information and it kind of auto populates it. And so you don't have to think too hard about it, which is really nice.
Yeah, the really only thing you have to think about it for this one is the type of the campaign types that you want to build, and then the keywords that you want to add into it. Other than that, we've taken away kind of all the thinking that our previous form used to have, like thresholds, and you had to think about break evens and things like that. The tool now does it kind of automatically, so you don't really have to think about it. But again, not only do we have keyword promotion rules, but we have negative, because some search terms don't do well, right? So you want to make them negative. So all this is saying is that the auto campaign is the one that gets search terms, and the broad match keyword research campaign is also the one that gets search terms. And then these are the rules regarding how we're going to make them negative if we find bad performing ones, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So yeah, in that's pretty much it between the guided and the quick builder. We're actually going to add a third one, maybe, I don't know, in a few months, called an advanced builder, but that's going to be advanced.
Yeah.
More maybe for agencies and things that want to write like super custom rules. But for now, we've made a lot of the features available, not only in the campaign builder. So if you've already got a bunch of campaigns running and you just want to take advantage of Atomic's rules, looking at them, you can also do that too. So it's not limited to just the campaigns being built in Atomic. And you would do that by finding the campaign that's already maybe pre-existing and then changing some settings here. So bid algorithm, target value, and automate, actually, these are all related to the keyword bidding and the templates we just went over, actually. So let's say you're just launched a product and you've got some max impressions, right? You can see Bradley just launched some products, so he's using our launch template. And again, that means that we're looking at impressions, not ACOS, as the goal. That's why there's no target here. It's just because there is no target ACOS, so we're just focusing on impressions. Then let's say after he's done with that, then he's moving to scale. And that's when he's gonna focus on getting it to a specific ACOS. So you can just make that, you can flip the switch right here on any campaign, and Atomic within 24 hours will shift gears and make its algorithm go towards that. And then for that last phase, we've got max orders, which is the liquidate phase. So again, that's for products that maybe aren't doing well, maybe you want to get rid of them for any reason. You just turn on max orders and it automatically adjusts the algorithm that's running. You can adjust the ACOS targets here. 30% is default. If you want to automate the keyword bids so that you don't have to manually apply them in our suggestions page, which is located here under bids, you could do that. I still suggest users, especially new ones, look at the suggestions first before applying any kind of automation. But you can do that, and then you don't have to even go over to that page. Everything's recorded in our change log. But as far as the rule creation, the really cool thing is that, again, if you've got existing campaigns, instead of creating brand new campaigns, you just go through here and create some rules. So it's very similar to what kind of the campaign creation flow. I'm just going to put test. we've got two campaign rule types that are outside of bid suggestions, which is converting search terms in ASINs. So finding good keywords for you, or finding poor performing search terms in ASINs. These are the two primary reasons you go through your search term reports. So we're going to do that for you if you just do a little programming. Advanced options. The previous form for the campaign builder, like I mentioned, made you kind of think and made you enter some metrics, which is what this still is too for those users that are maybe used to that. So like order threshold, that simply means how many search terms does this or sales does the search term need to have before I consider it a success to be moved to a campaign as a manual. And maybe you want to set a max ACoS too. But if you don't want to think about this stuff, you don't have to. You can just literally leave it blank. And as it says right here, we're automatically going to use the profile level defaults for those. And then it's just a matter of finding your ad groups that you want to create the rule for. I'm just going to randomly select some. Here's an auto campaign. Atomic immediately says, cool, you selected an auto campaign. Now you got to select another campaign to move those keywords that we find from this auto campaign to. So you just go through and let's find a research campaign. Perfect. Now, keep in mind, I'm just adding any ad groups here. So you really have to be careful, because if I were to launch this, I could be sending keywords from a completely unrelated ad group to another completely unrelated ad group. So this part, you do have to pay attention. You have to know in your head what you're trying to create, and then go through it and do the searches. I'm just showing you for time's sake.
Cool.
And then let's say you want a product targeting campaign, right? So now you've got your auto campaign. It's going to drive keywords to that research campaign. It's going to drive ASINs to that product targeting campaign. You set up your match types, which for product targets is just clicking on the ASIN. The research campaign is going to get new targets as broad, or you can select broad and phrase, or you can select broad, phrase, and exact if you wanted to, which I wouldn't suggest. I would just stick to maybe broader phrase in for a research type campaign. And then here's where you would add the search term isolation, what I was saying, making a negative target out of the keywords that were actually being promoted. So if you want to add that, you can do that as well. And then you just hit create rule. And I've just created an ad a structure that tells Atomic where to move keywords that it finds from auto campaign, from the research campaign, and what campaign to promote it to. So obviously I'm going to change that, or discard that, just to really simply show you the negative keyword side. So I'm just going to select this to find poor performing search terms, which is equally important. Optimization, probably more important, because you really want to find those wasteful search terms, like I just showed you how I did really quickly by looking at clicks and how many sales in the search term report. But again, we'll do that for you. If you want to use thresholds again, you click on this and you can enter them. So kind of very similar to the new keyword rules. I'm just going to let Atomic do it. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to leave automation off for now. And then I'm just going to find a ad group, and I can add as many ad groups as I want, and then make them, make them negative. So all I'm doing, if I were to hit apply, is saying this auto campaign is gonna, if it finds if it finds poor performing ASINs or search terms, it's going to make them both phrase negative and exact match negative. And I would create that rule, and that's it. And if you have, like I said, if you maybe built a campaign in ads, in Atomic, and then you wanted to change anything, you just click on the campaign, click on a rule. You could delete a rule. You could remove, certain ad groups. You could add different ad groups. So it's completely customizable for lots of different things that sellers would potentially want to do. Moving keywords from one campaign into multiple different ad groups, you can do that. You can use this tool for researching maybe campaigns that you didn't really know how to run it, and maybe it's just kind of all over the place. Just turn it on here, create some rules. Atomic will look at the last 90 days worth of data and give you kind of suggestions on it that maybe you can use to even launch a brand new set of campaigns. So it's pretty customizable, and I'm looking forward to doing more like in-depth trainings on this tool.
No, that's awesome. And if you guys enjoyed this video and you guys kind of want some more tutorials about it, let me know in the comments down below and maybe we can have them back on. Maybe I can do one as well and kind of go into different features. But I just want to say thanks, Vince, for being here. And just to kind of wrap it up, I know PPC is a topic that a lot of people kind of struggle with.
Mhm.
They're always trying to lower their A costs, or they're like, oh, where do I even start?
Right.
What I guess what's your biggest piece of advice for a seller that's trying to figure out PPC?
The biggest piece of advice is kind of what we were talking about before, which was don't go into this thinking you're going to make money on your PPC. That is key number one. If you go into this realistically and look at this as your marketing budget, then especially at launch, you shouldn't expect to make money. You're really trying to get data, get visibility, and then the money will come. So that's the first kind of mistake that I see people do, is they think that they're only going to spend marketing budget if they know they're going to make money on that marketing budget from those PPC campaigns, and that's just a mistake. And then focusing too much, kind of similar, but focusing too much on the ACoS and not looking at the big picture. Now, granted, that's a little bit harder when maybe you don't have access to a tool like this and you can't see, so easily what your total ACoS is. But you can still figure that out by looking at your business reports, you're looking at your total sales per product, and then cross-referencing that with your PPC spends. So those are the two main things I would say. But really, the struggle that I see most common is just the cumbersome nature of going through your search term reports on a manual basis.
Yeah.
Most people, they don't really realize how much time that takes to do. And actually, what I tell brand new users to maybe to Haley and Tim or to ads, I say, build your campaigns in Seller Central. Try to optimize it yourself in Seller Central. You should know your way around it, because you still
Yeah.
have to do some functionality in Seller Central. There's still things that you can't do in a tool that you can only do in Seller Central. But you really kind of get your feet wet, and then you'll understand, oh, wow, if I want to stay on top of these search terms for regularly, like I have to download these reports. They only go back 60 days. So I have to compile them, I have to add them up. Then I have to put them in my own spreadsheet, which is what I used to do as a consultant, which is why I came on board to build this. I
Yeah.
literally took everything that I was doing manually and I'm like, okay, what would I build? And that's what this is. The beauty of this too, though, probably worth mentioning, is that depending on when a user signs up, and how long they've been a member with us, unlike Seller Central, which I just said only goes back 60 to 90 days, we go back 2 years.
Oh, that's awesome.
So if you want to see how last season did, or if you want to see how last year did, now granted, things change over the course of a season or the course of a year, but sometimes it's good to have historical data to reference. And you don't really get that in Seller Central unless you actively save your search term reports on a monthly basis, and then merge them into one big master sheet. So I would say
that's kind of really cool. Not to dive into it too much, but
Sure.
what people don't realize is during the year, people may be searching more for a specific product. One keyword may be converting better during the springtime versus the winter. And having access to those the reports and going back, you can then alter your campaigns. And that's what I try to tell people with PPC is there's so much that you can do. There's no right or wrong. It's all about just going in there, testing, looking at different things. It was funny. I had a TikTok comment today saying scared money don't make money. And I guess that's kind of how it goes, is if you're scared to spend money on PPC, like, you're not going to really fine tune anything. And so I hate to break it to people. You're going to have to spend a little bit of money.
Absolutely. And that's, really, when you think about Amazon, and I'm sure you tell people this too, like that's your business. Like if you're really serious about it, of course you're going to have some marketing budget for your business. Maybe it's a website, maybe it's a storefront, which is way more expensive. But new sellers should go into this knowing that, hey, this is my marketing budget. This is how much I can set aside on a regular basis. And if I lose it, I lose it. But at least I'm getting data and I'm getting visibility while I'm doing that. And that is the key. That's the most important factor for PPC.
Well, that's awesome. I appreciate you again being here. Again, if you guys enjoyed, like the video, subscribe, drop a comment. Thank you, Vince. Hopefully we'll have you back soon. I'm really excited about this tool and everything that you've done and how involved you are with the entire process. So
Yeah,
thanks again,
thanks.
and we'll see you next time.
Happy to come back on. Thanks, Trevin.